Hello, welcome to Cult Movie Club, where today we're going through all the films that I saw in the month of June. If you watched my previous video for the films of the months of May, I mentioned there that there wasn't many films I wanted to see in June, if any, and there possibly might not be a video. However, I did manage to see 6 films released this month, so we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about them, and I'm going to put them in the order that I liked them the most. So starting with a Netflix film, probably the most recent one off this list, is A Family Affair, starring Zac Efron and Nicole Kidman. Now, this has a very similar plot to a film from last month, which was called The Idea Review with Anne Hathaway, which to me was the better film. This takes that kind of similar plot and makes a kind of comedy out of it. If you like your rom-coms, then I'm sure you will find something to enjoy in this film. Rom-coms aren't really my thing, but I still did. It was still entertaining for the 90 minutes that it was on for. Under Paris is another Netflix film that came out at the start of the month. This is a French film. You can watch this dubbed into English, but I watched it in French with subtitles. It had a really strong opening, some really strong imagery going on in that opening, and from that opening alone I was thinking this is going to be great. However, the film went into a real lull period in the middle and didn't really recover. However, the climax was quite good, but it just didn't come together for me. I was a bit disappointed with this one. I've read some mixed reviews for this. Some people did actually really like it. However, because of that lull period for me, it's more like a 5-6 out of 10. So next was a film I managed to see for free at the cinema called Dead Don't Hurt. I saw this as part of an advanced screening. And it's Viggo Mortensen starring and directing in this western. I'm not a big, huge fan of westerns. However, I did enjoy this. It's like a romantic kind of western. The scenery in this film was the thing that impressed me the most. It looked absolutely fantastic. The acting was good, especially from the female lead in this film. And yeah, I enjoyed it, but and again, a 6 out of 10 for me. It's not really my genre, but it was good at what it did. So next is another Netflix film called Hitman, which was quite anticipated. I heard more about it as the year went on. It's a Richard Linklater film and starring Glenn Powell. I really enjoyed this. I enjoyed this a lot more than I thought I was going to. It manages to blend genres quite successfully. It's like a rom-com action film, and it manages to pull all that off and is very entertaining. Probably a surprise of the year, this one. I think this this deserved a cinema release, and I think would have done a lot better in the cinema and would have made more of an impact than it has on Netflix, where it's had obviously its week, and now it's just going to be in the depths of the bottom of a Netflix queue now somewhere, which it deserves better in my opinion. Next is a film that came out at the very tail end of May, so I'm including it here because I think it was like the 30th or something like that. It's a film called Sting that I went to watch at the cinema and I actually really enjoyed. It's a very camp horror film. It's quite low budget, but I'm into that sort of stuff, so it worked for me. If you do not like spiders, then you should avoid this film at all costs. However, I don't mind them. I enjoyed this film. It's a pretty good horror film, like I said. It's got that kind of vibe of, say, Critters. It's like that kind. That's the kind of horror film you're gonna see here. And best one of the month for me was a film I saw at the very tail end of the month. And again, I went to see this at cinema. It's Quiet Place Day One. Now, I wasn't really interested that much in this film. I had a ticket for the cinema, so I decided to go watch it because it was the only thing on at the time I could go. And I was really surprised at how much I enjoyed this film. It's a prequel, but it doesn't really go into where the aliens have come from and why they're here. It's more taking the scenarios of the first 2 films, but putting it into another perspective and putting it in a big city. I really enjoyed it, and I really enjoyed the friendship that's gained between the 2 main characters in the film. There is some really strong, good moments. There was especially a good moment which provided a very good scare for me, and then there's some really emotional kind of moments towards the end where a couple of people were actually crying in the cinema that I was in. But yeah, good film. I expect this to be in my end list. Again, I was really surprised by it. I liked the initial 2 Quiet Place films. I liked the first one more than the second one. But I really enjoyed this. I think this was probably on par with the first one for me. So that's all the films that I managed to see in June of all the new releases. There was a Van Damme film out this month that I have not managed to see yet. So in fact, the 2 films that I was looking forward to the most in June were Bike Riders and new Van Damme film. However, I've not seen either of those. I'll be definitely checking those out as the year goes on. Anyway, that's everything. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.